I have arrived at camp. So I just thought I'd do a wee video going through all the stuff that I'm using at the minute with some of the changes that I've made because it's now into autumn. So summer bag is out, winter bag's in, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just pretending I just got to camp. Here we go. Oh look, somebody set my tent up and all. And here's my new Storm Grota. One of the lucky people that managed to get one before they sold out. But we're going to pretend that I don't have that necessarily. And in this bag is the Gakota, because that's what I packed for the last camp. Also, I'm just trying out the wee Ohm chest pack, which didn't fit until I had to change my this little pouch here. Actually, that helps. So I switched out the little water bottle pocket I had, the Regatta one. Got this wee Nature Hike one, and that allows me to clip this on here easily. And it also then has just little open hooks on it that just reach around there and just try and find something to hook them onto. Seems to be what happens. So we'll figure that out. Boop, there we go. Yep, solid. Okay, I've arrived at camp. Kick my shoes off, get my camp shoes on. My IKEA Birkenstocks. They're not IKEA, they were Primark. Right, cool. Right, let's pretend I've just arrived at camp. Chest pack off. So then I'll show you what is in each of these things, what's in the chest pack. I might also still, even if I'm using this, I might also have a bum bag, but I don't want too many. And I actually sort of found this a little bit kind of claustrophobic, just right here, but it is super handy for getting access to things. So I do like bum bags, but we'll see. I'll work with this for a wee while and see what happens. So potentially this could go in my wee storage nook in my new tent. A little Ohm chest bag, I think was about £25 thereabouts. I don't even get them any less, but I think it's about £25. Same rucksack as you all know about if you've been watching the videos. Nature Hike Rock 60 litre. Absolute banger of a bag. Love it. Still don't think it's the right bag theoretically for me. I think it would be better for people with a bigger build. But it works, that's great, it's fantastic, and it's my only rucksack. That's how much I like it. And they probably are costing about £60 off AliExpress, unless it's gone up by about 65 quid. AliExpress, brilliant bag, no issues at all with it. This is my Terex Gore-Tex Gore-Tex Pro Adidas Terex jacket that I got for I think £80 off Vinted. Really, like, pretty much brand new condition. Very happy with it too. Solid shell. So it can go in my wee storage nook. So good, right? Let's pretend I'm at camp and get. First up, my Nature Hike is my Nature Hike stool. That's not the bag for the Nature Hike stool, actually, that's the bag for my Nature Hike air mat. I'm not sponsored by Nature Hike, but if Nature Hike want to sponsor me, they flipping well can. So good. Oh. Look at that, just went up first time. Amazing. Boop. Like 250 grams, cost I think about £10. You can get cheaper ones, but I wanted the wee khaki coloured one, khaki. Answers in the comments. You can get the other company, Wide Sea, which are pretty much like nearly identical to Nature Hike products. I think are a bit cheaper, for maybe £7 or £8 maybe. So by 10 quid, 250 grams. Yes, you can get more comfortable lightweight seats. So if I was going into the woods, or maybe yeah, whatever. I might bring my other seat, which weighs just over 1 kilogram, just for that extra comfort. But for the amount of comfort this gives me for like just cooking and yeah, drinking tea and whatever else is absolutely superb. So let's begin. Wee bonus actually. So not that I bring these camping, hiking, but some people might. But I think they're great purchases and great prices. One is this little stainless steel water bottle. It's only like, say, 600 milliliters maybe. But this is from Asda and it costs £6. It's really nicely made. It's so well done. The lid screws on nicely because I've seen other ones like this. Their lid's fiddly. So if you're into stainless steel water bottles and you don't think this is a horrendous weight to carry with you, yeah, Asda, £6, fantastic. So I just use that as a day-to-day thing. Also got this ages ago, but it's one of the most impressive thermos flasks that I've bought, where it actually keeps my coffee warm for quite a while. So again, it's like probably about 500 milliliters maybe. It's got a little drinking lip there, which you open up or close. Stainless steel, sort of like, you'd think it's all basic, but a lot of flasks that I've had have not worked, or they've worked so badly that I just almost lost any belief that any of these are any good. This cost me £8. Works very well. So surprised with it. Nice and slender as well. So, you know, if you're it could be handy for camping. This is from IKEA. IKEA, £8. Absolutely fantastic. Those are little bonus items, but as I say, I don't bring them camping, but some of you might bring something like that with you. So I've talked about this rucksack. I think 60 litres is a good size. Even with my winter gear, I can get it all into this 60 litre. I would say this is a small 60 litre. Not all literages are measured in the same way, so you do get differences. And also with bags that have a lid on it, you can kind of overpack them. There's you're quite limited about how much you can overpack this, because you need to be able to roll the top of it enough. So it is kind of like, I would say, a small, not much leeway. The leeway that you do have is this mad stretch pocket that just like keeps on going, and it can make you a very lazy packer. Not think about it too much and just jam everything that doesn't fit into there. So you do want to think about what goes in there. I try and put lighter things like clothing into that, because one, it's quick access, so your waterproof jacket, waterproof trousers, have that all in there. I do tend to keep I've got my little sponges for drying off condensation, etc, etc. Any spare layers, like a little puffy jacket I think I've got in here. And then I think I've got like my toiletry bag, probably something light like that. That's what a fox tried to steal this. Luckily my friend found it in the bushes from my last camp. I don't know if I'll do a video. I lost loads of audio from it, so I don't know if it's even worthwhile putting up. I might do, but yeah, basically camping in a forest, and this fox actually put holes into my rubble sack and tried to pull that bag away 5 in the morning. Woke me up. I thought my mate had fallen out of his hammock, and then it actually dragged this off into the bushes. So thanks to my mate that he found that. So yeah, I'll actually just unpack some of this as I go and just fire it over here. So yeah, this is just a little toiletry bag I bring. It's got a little quick dry towel, quite a small one. It's probably about that size. I don't use it for drying condensation because actually they do get sodden wet. So literally I would use that for drying my feet off before I put on fresh socks. Before, if I'm getting into my tent after a big long hike. Just bring like wee mini, yeah, you can guess, like I actually have earplugs which I never use, but I might use them. Like tick card if you're, doing that, hand sanitizer, just shower gel, a wee bit of BO spray, and that's literally for if I'm absolutely stinking, haven't managed to get washed in the morning and I'm on a bus or a train getting back to Belfast for a little bit of consideration. This is just little puffy vest. This is a great wee one. Columbia stretch panels at the side, so it's a bit like a Rob Cirrus flex vest, but without the price tag. I think I got this for about 15 quid. This is lovely, not too thick. So it's great. Superb. Yeah, my little sponges, these are just like little Lidl sponges. The good thing about these for condensation is you can wring out a lot of the moisture, and they do actually dry really quickly. So yeah, those are great for that. And even stuff like if you're lifting a hot pot or something like that, you could use them, so they're multi-purpose too. So bring a couple of those. These are my waterproof over trousers. These are very, very lightweight. I actually got the jacket off these. I was so impressed by it and its weight that I bought the matching over trousers. I got the jacket for about £18 brand new, but these actually cost about 65, 70 maybe brand new. It's hard to get a cheaper price than that. These are Adidas Terex. Agravic, I think it's in the Agravic trail running range maybe, but for the weight off them it's incredible, and they've actually got a full length side zip, and it's a waterproof zip as well, so you can actually, and got like a zipped back pocket, all these wee extras, like, but super light. So yeah, and the whole thing with waterproof over trousers is like, don't wear them. I hate wearing them. I would prefer to actually walk, even if it's all day drizzle rain, in like long johns with a soft shell trouser on top, and just be comfortably damp. But if I have to, I also want my waterproof trousers to be as good as possible. So like having a full length side zip and being really lightweight. So yeah, I haven't experienced yet walking for a long period of time in these in the rain, but I was very impressed with the wee waterproof jacket that matches these. But the wee waterproof jacket, I would probably use it in warmer weather, like when it's big stinky rain. That Adidas Terex Gore-Tex is the jacket I'll be using. This is just a little repair kit that I bring. By the way, this is the time of year to get these. These are the little see-through pencil cases that you can get in Tesco's and other places like Home Bargains. But I think I got these in Tesco's for like 50p or something, or £1. But they're actually really handy, partly because you can see into them and you can see what's in it. So they were a good buy. I got them ages ago. So yeah, just random things like gaffer tape, needle and thread, stuff to repair me and repair other stuff. Some little adhesive patches there just for fixing, like, say, tent fly sheet. Ooh. See, that's what happens whenever foxes grab your bag and things become a bit unhinged. Yeah, like paracetamol, ibuprofen, which I never ever take. I don't even know why I put them in there. And then rehydration sachets and antiseptic wipes, foil blanket, plasters, blah 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 blah. So a lot of this stuff hasn't changed from one of my other videos that I did about what gear I bring. This one's a funny story. Right, these are my OEX Trigger carbon walking poles. I had replaced these with Nature Hike collapsible poles, which were absolutely awesome. Loved them. They're actually, even though they're aluminium alloy, they were actually lighter than these carbon poles, and partly because I got a shorter version of them, which was actually, they were still long enough for me, and I'm like nearly 6 foot, so they were totally fine. These weigh about 400 grams, and the Nature Hike ones came in at under 400 grams, like 380 maybe. Luckily, I still have these and had these and hadn't sold them on, because I left my Nature Hike walking poles, as you might have seen in my last video, where I left them on top of Slieve Muck in the Mourne Mountains. I just hope they went to a good home and that somebody's enjoying them at the moment. And you're like, oh, my legs don't like up hills after yesterday. I think just get my walking poles out, help myself out. I don't have my walking poles, and now I'm just thoroughly exhausted. I think I might just leave them. It is what it is, and I am what I am. And I'm a person that's not going to go back to get them. But luckily I still had these. And the thing was, it was the Nature Hike poles that actually got me totally like convinced, like I was just converted to walking poles, and how much they changed the experience of hiking, going up hills, down hills, stability, testing the ground ahead of you in boggy areas, whatever, and even if you have a trekking pole tent, whatever. There's so many advantages. I love them. But now that I've been converted into actually using them, now I'm okay with having these. So basically, I wanted them to weigh as little as possible, because I knew found Riley, there's a good chance I wouldn't use them. That's what realistically happened. I would bring them with me, or occasionally would bring them with me thinking, oh, maybe he'll use them, maybe he'll try them. And I just wanted them to be as light as possible, because there's such a good chance they would just stay in my bag as extra weight rather than being used. Now I'm actually using poles. So these are no longer weight in my bag. So I'm really glad I have these. They were actually recently going on sale. You can get these in like the likes of, because JD Sports own Go Outdoors, Blacks, Millets, whatever. You can get them in the same shops, basically, for the same. I think they do their sales at different times, maybe. Anyway, but you could at one point get these for £35, and I think 35 quid for a pair of these is absolutely banging. Like, say, carbon fibre. Click lock poles. They are actually, in some ways, they are a wee bit better than the Nature Hike ones. They've got slightly bigger hand grips. Foam is a wee bit better, maybe, but I would say definitely the straps on them are much better, more support, but thickened out, and that's probably where the weight is. So, yes, Nature Hike poles off AliExpress, they cost me about £40 maybe for the pair, but they're collapsible, and I bought them because I was thinking about if I go away to Portugal or Spain and want to go hiking, they would actually fit in a cabin bag. Although I think you may not be able to bring walking poles on the flights in a cabin bag. I need to look at it. Anywho, that was why I got them anyway, and now somebody else has them, or they're still on top of Sleeve Muck, but I don't think so. These as a good alternative, 100%. You know, they basically would use slot onto your bag and through the walking pole loops, and then there's little retainers usually here. This one's got that little bungee system, which is really handy. But I've also kitted out this bag with a really basic, super basic stash system. So essentially it's a bit of bungee. You'll probably see me using this, especially the Antrim Hills Way video. A bit of bungee there, a bit of bungee down here, wherever it is, here, and essentially I can just put the tips into there, and then I can just fire that on and then tighten that up with a wee bungee, and that means they're ready to go. So if I want to stop using them, or if I'm climbing over a stile or something like that, I can just stash them, walk for a bit, and then they're ready to go, instead of being on the outside of your bag. If they're over here, you're not going to take your bag off quite often and then get them. So having walking poles, I'm 100% for that. OEX trigger poles, especially if you can get them for £35, and then kit your bag out with basically an Osprey kind of style stash and a go thing, using just bungee and little toggles. I just made that up. Boop. Right. That was a little Nature Hike water bottle pouch, or whatever pouch. It does actually fit a 1 litre bottle. These are active water bottles that I use because the thread on them will fit the Sawyer Squeeze water filter. The 1 litre one also has the same thread on it. I choose these. The 1 litre just sits stupidly high up and feels like it's right up your cheek or something. So the 600 millilitres work well for that. That little Nature Hike pouch, which I only got recently, really, really good. I would say though, once you've got the water bottle in it, you're not going to get much into that little pouch there. Maybe your keys, because it's just going to fill that up. But yeah, it's a really solid little pouch. Really like it. Elasticated there. Can you still get anything in there? Hardly anything. You could get more in it actually if you removed that pretty, I'm going to say that's relatively useless bungee there. Apart from if you had something smaller in that, and then you could use that to actually reduce the volume. But yeah, I might actually take that off so that I can actually get something more in that. So water, 600 ml active water bottle. I still use this actually. It's like a kind of selfie stick tripod. I actually now do bring, unfortunately I'm actually using it now, so I can't show you it, but I do still bring this with me, but the tripod's not super sturdy. This falls over way more often, so if I'm doing any shots and it's windy, it's so annoying whenever you're like set up a shot, do your wee walk, and then it falls over halfway through your so yeah, I've actually got a more sturdy like tripod selfie stick thing, but this, because of the size of it, like it's really good. I think this was Atom Tech. It is Atom Tech. It says on it Atom Tech. It's Atom Tech. It also has like a wee remote, Bluetooth remote on it. It's basically designed for phones, but because it just slots in there, like I would basically have my phone in that pouch with this, and it's so easy to grab. It's so lightweight. It's ludicrous. I used this, I think the first time I used it was Novick Way. I was just really impressed by it. This I think cost £10. I think it might have been like a returned item or refurbished or something, whatever, but I think it was about £10 off eBay. Atom Tech, that's all you need to know, and then you can look that up if you want one of them. Very happy with that. This is the pouch that is built onto the Nature Hike rock. This is one of my issues with, and you can look this up, but I basically had to put a hole through the side of this in order to get the chest strap, sternum strap, into an area that was actually useful for me. Has that hole opened up a wee bit more? I might have done, but maybe that'll become an issue. And then again, these hip belt pockets are fantastic. They're nice and big, and I haven't got anything in them there, but I would usually have, I think one of them usually like has hand sanitizer and tissues, and then the other one I usually have my peanuts or something like that in the other, I think is what I usually have. But sometimes depending on whether I've got in my bum bag, but I'll talk about that, but it's usually gadgets and gizmos. Let's go side pockets. I only put this in as a kind of replica of what this is being recorded on, so ignore that, but I'll show you this other one later maybe. Love these. It's my little 4-class, as in Decathlon sitting mat. I keep forgetting this because I have this in my little day pack as a back support thing, so I keep forgetting to pack it. I think these cost about £7, $6.99 maybe. Really useful for kneeling on whenever you're like setting your tent up or putting your stuff into your tent, keeping your feet dry if you're putting your feet out into the open air. A second water bottle. Sometimes I bring the 1 litre for a wee bit extra water, but it would usually go in these side pockets. These again are super stretchy. It's super stretchy mesh, fantastic. This bag has very skinny little cord on it, a wee bit more faffy than straps, but you work around it, you figure it out. It's definitely not a complaint. Right, other side, we'll have poop trowel, also a little bag that I have elastic banded on there. That is so that I carry out my toilet tissue, my dirty toilet tissue, rather than burying it or leaving it. Definitely don't do. I would encourage you to basically do it, to carry it all out. Don't be too whatever. This trowel is a GSI Lexan poop scoop. I can't remember what it was called, but it's really good. It's some people use titanium ones, but they dig into your hands. So if you got hard ground, you'll end up being lazy and not actually dig a hole. This, because it's got a more solid handle on it, so yeah, it means you can get really good pressure into it, and it's got a serrated edge on it as well, so you can really dig properly with it. You use it for other things too, for fire purposes and stuff. So yeah, that is really handy. Poop scoop, toilet shovel hole digger. These are the poles for Fern Gakota tent. They are actually about the same size. So yeah, obviously I've got this new tent now, which I'll be doing a review of, separate video. And also I'll be hopefully taking it out next week and doing a video showing that in action. So The Gakuta at the minute, it will be put on hold, so it will not be the Gakuta tent that will be in my pack next time. This is the little peg bag though that I might start using with the Storm Garuda, because it's actually a slightly bigger bag and it's easier to get your pegs in. So yeah. So yes, I pack my tent separate, so poles and pegs go on one side, and then my inner and outer are separate bags and inside the top of the tent. What else is in here? That's not exactly where I want that to be, but that's my wee Flex Tail Gear lantern and pump. And I've got a little S-beaner on there, so it's ready to clip on, and I've got my little attachments there as well. I also put a little bit of tape over this, and I don't know if it does work or not, but it's sort of to prevent it switching on accidentally in your bag, which it can do. Which is less likely to do actually if you have it on the outside. It'll be less likely to have pressure put on it. My little pee bag, controversial. I've used it once actually, but the last camp I was on, I actually wish I had it with me, to be honest. So yeah. And you know, getting out of your tent when it's wet, especially if your shoes are wet and you're in your tent with dry socks on, and you like, there are reasons why a pee bag is just a really good idea. So, moving on. What was in here? Oh, this is my little basin, right? So I basically decided, would I bring these or not? I don't know. They're actually a bit heavy, but these are little insulated Columbia booties with actually a decent sole on them, so you could actually walk about in those quite easily, nicely, with a wee reflective sort of lining in there as well. And I got them second hand for about £8. I suppose you call them hot slippers. But that is something, you know, if like say my shoes are wet, and I don't want to get my dry socks soaking, putting them in there, and I'm going out for a pee or something, then these could be what you'd use, and even just like for the comfort after walking in your boots and shoes. I last spur of the moment had put them inside this, which is waterproof. This is the little basin that I mentioned in my tent review video. But then I discovered this tent actually does have little storage pouches in it. So, but I would still probably have this in the tent anyway, with other things that wouldn't go in the storage pouches. So yeah, these little bags are just great for organising stuff. You can get them on eBay for about £6, I think. So they're folding, collapsible wash basins. I don't know what they're called specifically, but you can actually use them as a basin, fill them with water, so a water carrier bag. They're handy for storing food in as well, if you're putting it into your rucksack in case you're worried about leakage, because that's going to help prevent or damage limit any leaks. So yes, eBay. Why those I think I got these off Vinted or Depop. I actually buy a lot of my outdoor clothing on Depop and Vinted. Just the prices are super good. This little storage pouch on the Nature Hike bag. This is where I put these. Again, this is a good time to get these little pouches. They don't come with snazzy little logos. I got these off AliExpress, I think. Ironed them on. These little neoprene pouches are sold as pencil cases this time of year. So again, another one you could pick up now for storage. I find it really handy. So this is my electronics. I think these little pencil cases cost about £1 or £1.52 max. So yeah, my Inui power bank to 20,000 milliamp hour. I've got a little travel plug. So if I'm, in a bus station, train station, and wanting to charge up my phone or whatever, or a cafe, restaurant, whatever, I can do that. And just leads for charging my drones and other gizmos. I even have, and I still carry them because they're so light and compact, a little set of lights, basically for romantic lighting, mood lighting in the tent. But they're so small, they just stay in there. The other one is my water filter pouch, and this is one which I think I'm going to switch out. So it's actually, I'm going to get a lightweight off AliExpress, I think, lightweight bum bag that has a strap already attached to it. So it means I'm more likely to just grab all of these attach it on. Now there's a chest pack bum bag and have my filter and bag with me. My last adventure, I brought this down to get water, was so dehydrated and hadn't brought my filter with me. So I was walking up a horrible experience, epic side quest. I had my water, but I carried it and I couldn't drink the water that I had, and I was so dehydrated, and that would have given me so much of a morale boost if I had water. Like, it would have helped so much. So just have them, if I brought that as well. So I think having them in a little pouch, but a pouch that actually is a bum bag, really lightweight, and actually AliExpress do one that looks like it'll fit the bill for about £10. Another valuable lesson. If I'd brought my water filter with me to go get the water 2 filter, I'd be able to drink water right now. But I don't. So that's what I think I might change in that. That's the CNOC Vecto 2 litre water bag. Still love that. And this is the Sawyer Squeeze water filter, which costs about £50, but love it. Nearly lost the O-ring, and that can be a thing apparently with those. A little O-ring in here, it pops out, so just keep an eye on it. And then I've got the wee active cover. I've just taken that off an active water bottle, basically sports top. There's water dripping out of it. And that allows you as well, you can put that onto a bottle and then back flush it as well. And it means you can just have that like that if you're using it as a gravity filter, and then pop it open, close it off, boom. Right, that's all I've got in that, right. So that's into the main bag. So this clicks down like that. And then roll top bag. Inside that, everything gets lined. Most rucksacks are not waterproof. I don't know, a lot of people get it in their head that like a lot of like rucksacks are waterproof, but they're mostly not. So this does come with a built-in rain cover. A lot of bags these days do. So at the bottom of the pack, this comes with a black rain cover. I basically only use this if I'm in the woods, just for more being discreet. And actually I have a Regatta High Vis one that I normally use, and that's for when hiking, and I only put it on really for road sections for visibility. So I switch them out from time to time, but it's normally the High Vis one that I'm using, actually, from Regatta, and it costs about £10, I believe. So yes, these are Tesco rubble sacks. This is going to make noise, so I'm going to get the noise out of the way. You get a roll of these about for maybe 20 of them, maybe. They're 40-45 litres each, but I've got several of these, not just one, so it's not, I don't use one big one, just 2 or 3 of the smaller ones. They cost about £4, I think, for a roll of 20. Thereabouts. Right, I'll get the noise out of the way. Right, okay, this is almost going to be obsolete. This is the inner or outer of, I think it's the inner, because it's not that crunchy, of my Fern Gakota tent, 2-person. Fantastic tent, but next few adventures are going to be in this other tent. I have them in bags like this, separated. Basically, if the outer is wet, I want to have it in a little bag to reduce the amount of moisture getting out of it. And this will be the inner. The inner will be packed separately, and it, in theory, should be dry or drier, and will be packed probably inside one of the rubble sacks to separate it from the wet outer. So basically the wet outer, if I'm out on the trail, will be the last thing to go in there. Noise, crunchy. So that'll be rolled down, sealed off, then that'll go in the top, last thing, and then the first thing to come out. So that is the plan with those. Foil underlay. This is just foil bubble wrap that you use for windscreens or behind radiators. Get a roll off it, cut it down to size, protects your ground mat, your air mat from puncturing, and also gives a wee bit extra heat reflection. That would actually be the first thing I pack in because, once you get that in there first and then pack things into it. Okay, more. Right. This mug, amazing. I almost want to do a separate video on this and compare it to another mug I have. I was going to, but this is the GSI Infinity mug. So useful for many, many things. Some people use it for cold soaking. Comes with a little neoprene sleeve with a clasp foldy handle. So you can use it in side pockets quite easily and nicely. It does come with, that's the only thing I would criticise it on. It comes with little markings on it and they wear off totally. So you'd actually need to marker them on yourself if you want them to be permanent. And I would actually suggest if you get one, you just do it straight away. So it's there. This is where I just keep, it's like my brew kit, I suppose. Tea, my coffee in there. But I love the lid seals down really well. If I've even stored food in it, especially the Wicklow way, I would like cook up twice the amount of food I needed, or eat a wee bit less maybe, and then keep some in this for later. And if it's just stuff that's quite dry, you could actually have this inside your rucksack and be pretty secure that it's not going to like leak or whatever. Not liquids. Like if there was a liquid in that, like coffee, and I had that in a side pocket, you would get a wee bit of leakage, but it wouldn't be bad. Like you could do it for a bit. But yeah, you would get like a small amount of leakage on the lid. But yeah, that's fantastic. They cost about £18, I think, off Amazon. And you get different coloured sleeves for them. But that's brilliant. GSI Infinity backpacking mug. Really good. My little cook kit. Been using this for, I imagine, like 2 years. I actually had the bigger version of it, which was a bit more shallower and wider. This is a solo version of it. It's so good. I'll do a wee brief run through. I think it cost about 15 quid, which is crazy. It's stainless steel. I don't do titanium, not a fan of titanium. So stainless steel, easy to clean. You can scrape the crap out of it with a Brillo pad, basically. This is my handmade DIY piece of Bego foil, or like it's basically a turkey roasting tray but it actually is handy. I just work with it, and you can sort of mold it and shape it to whatever you need to, and actually, it does the trick. Love it. And to be honest, it's not far off what used to be supplied with like MSR whisper lights and stuff like that. So another thing I love about this pot is the lid, the way that the handles go on and click through. You've also got little strainers, so if you're like cooking rice or pasta, you drain out the water. I've got a little neck gaiter there, which is mostly like a drying cloth more than anything, but it also stops things rattling about and making noise. So the pot set, it actually comes with a little bowl, which I don't use because it limits what you can put into it, so I just eat out of the pot. But these little spoons are great as well. I actually ended up buying another one of these separately because you can get them in Decathlon for like $1.99. And actually underneath that, when I lift that out, underneath this is what goes in first, is my GSI. I'm not sponsored by any of these people, but GSI, and that is the Java drip filter. So it's like a pour over filters kind of thing. Just clicks on top of your coffee, put your coffee in, and that is like best thing, having fresh ground coffee in the morning. And then that'll be sort of dirty unless you've got access to the river. It's going to be either damp or coffeed, so you can put that into a wee baggie, and that would go in and separate it from the rest. wee gas canisters that I refill. So you can look up videos that I've done about refilling canisters. Use these wee small ones because they fit into sets like this. I hate these cups, I never use them, but this is just a backup in case I forget to bring a mug, or I may find some other use for it. There's a little tripod stand, or tripod canister stand, just to give it more stability. Because the last thing you want is to accidentally knock your food over if you've got limited water, limited food. You really don't want to be knocking. So anything you can do to stabilize those things, the better. And I think I got that for about £1.50 off AliExpress. I always keep a wee lighter in there just in case, but I smoke, so I usually have a lighter, but I'll just put one in there because it's handy as well in case you can't find your lighter at the time. And as I'm still using and still love this wee stove, it's like one of them wee BRS stoves. It's not the titanium one, it's just the standard. Like so tiny, but it's reliable and actually has a really good decent flame on it and decent amount of control off the flame. Has not failed on me once, and this cost me less than £10. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's just like, look at it, it's tiny. So good. So yeah, I'm really happy with my wee cook kit. I've been using that system for yonks. And as I say, this stops rattling around. It's also a backup neck gaiter if you need one, you've forgotten the others. But yeah, and then I can use that. So like if I've cooked something I want to dry it, and then ready to go. Bump. Superb. Boop. Okay, food bag. This is way too much food. Like I've noticed this. I've been bringing far too much food for what I'm doing. It's ridiculous. So basically, it's all dehydrated, so it's going to be lighter than hydrated foods. So basically, I've got instant noodles in there, but I bring things like dried onions because it's a really good flavor enhancer. I've got a little bag of texturized protein chunks that you get from Holland and Barrett for about £3 a bag, depending if they're doing one of their buy one get one half price things. But they're really handy for adding in a bit of texture, chunk protein. It's all dehydrated as well. Bring a bag of those. So I've got a little Lidl couscous, Mediterranean style couscous in there. So you have some of those and then add in the onions, dried onions, or the chunks if I want to. Same with the noodles. In IKEA Ziploc bags. Where would I be without IKEA Ziploc bags? They're plastic. I hate their plastic. They're so useful. This is like my dry clothes set. Also with pocket hand warmers. Absolutely converted to pocket hand warmers. So small, but makes such a massive difference to your morale if you've got cold feet or cold hands. And I actually bought a box of those, 2 boxes actually. We've now got 2 boxes of these, so we've got plenty of them, and the box costs about £15 off Amazon. So this is just basically spare decent socks, spare base layer leggings, long johns, and spare base layer top. So we can either use those as camp clothes to keep them sacred in camp, sleeping only for in the tent, and then changing into sort of dirty sweaty clothes again, or just having them as spare clothes for the next day. Again, in IKEA Ziploc bag. Those pocket hand warmers though, that's something that I would actually keep really handy in the tent or in the hammock if I'm hammocking, so that they're ready to grab. So we're getting into winter, so this is my little, these are little veg bags that you can get in IKEA, Lidl, any of those kind of places, and I've just adapted it and put a little bungee on it, or a little cord toggle, whatever, and these are puffy, insulated, quilted joggers. I think they were described as quilted joggers off ASOS, and these have been great. These have been great. I actually wore them on my last camp there in a hammock camp. It was cool enough in the morning. I was like, I'm getting these on me. So I was actually really glad I brought them. Thought I might have been overboard, but no. I got these in sale now, so I don't know what they would cost like brand new, but I can't imagine it'd be more than 30 odd quid. I think I got these for like less than 20, and they actually don't weigh a huge amount more than the other equivalents that you can get. I like that they're not down. So the synthetic, so if they get wet, they're not going to sort of collapse on you. I suppose most people use the down ones and use them just in the tent and keep them as in the tent stuff. I do actually have little Lixada, but they're basically the same idea as the Nature Hike down booties, packed down super small. But what I realise is, what is more effective for me are the pocket hand warmers, because realistically, if my feet are cold, you put these on your cold feet, it's not going to do a huge amount. So actually the pocket hand warmers are so effective, and the pocket hand warmers stay warm for about 8 hours, 9 hours, it's crazy. So you'd have them all night and into the morning, keeping your tootsies warm while you're having your coffee. So we have pocket hand warmers for the win. But yes, definitely the puffy trousers I think are great. Rustly. Another one. Okay, right, we're into the biggies. So this is right into the camp, like the stuff you're going to be putting in your tent once you get to camp. So I typically have a puffy jacket that's ready to go, so when I get to camp I don't start cooling off when I stop walking. This is not necessarily the one that I would bring. I'm actually probably going to have 2 puffy jackets with me, I imagine, actually. But this is an example of the kind of gear you can get on Vinted and Depop. And I think because North Face are like quite fashionable, there's a lot of the fashion like stuff gets sold on for good prices because people aren't using it as a technical item and probably don't even realize the value it is. This is an 800 film North Face hooded morph jacket that I got for £18. And I think I got it for £18 because literally the North Face logo had wiped, like sort of rubbed off, which I didn't care. And I like, this is the one that I have my Saunter On logo ironed on. I need to actually glue that a bit more. So it's been Saunter On. It's 800 fill, which is like super high fill power for a down jacket. Packs into its own pocket, has a nice chest pocket there. It's hydrophobic down as well, but in saying that, like I still don't want to get feather jackets wet in general, so depending on the weather would depend on whether I bring a feather jacket or synthetic. This again, coming into winter, I've got 2 puffy jackets here. I would probably prefer to have one with a hood and one without a hood, to be honest. But this is a Terex. I love a lot of Terex product, partly because it fits me really well, and also like I've been buying it for super ridiculous good prices. So this is a Terex Primaloft being like the Rolls Royce of synthetic fillings. Again, packs into its own pocket. And I think I got this for, I think about £35, brand new, like a brand new jacket. With Primaloft for 35 quid is just really, really good. So again, I get the camp, you know, before I even start setting things up, but I've stopped hiking. Like I quite often want to put those on, but you will sometimes end up sweating once you actually start like putting your tent up and all that and having to take it off. But I don't want to lose any heat that I have. I don't want to lose that once I get to camp. Nice. Oh, love this jacket. This is my Nature Hike mat. They've improved the stuff sack, and this is actually a pump sack as well, so you don't even need a lantern pump. You could use this as your pump. It's going to be probably a bit quieter than a pump, so if you're in a group camp and everybody's nodding off to sleep, this would be a bit more discreet. Also, it's a backup if your pump fails. And obviously there's a lot of arguments about whether there's, you know, blowing into your air mat causes damage and all this malarkey, and some people have proven how that's a load of crap. But it's there anyway, you know. Also, I've used these as a food bag too, just to seal the food up, to keep the smells away from curious foxes and the like. Not that I think that would work, to be honest. So this is their Nature Hike 5.8 R, so that's the insulation value on it, so it's a good winter mat, but I would use this. It's so light, it's like I would use this spring, autumn, winter, whatever, summer. It's nice and thick as well. It's good thickness to it. Some of these mats are quite slidey and you slide off them, and I think depending on what way there's like whether they're grooved, etc., will determine that. So I like this one actually. It's not too, I don't slide off it too much. I'm not going to inflate that now, but I might do that for the video. It's getting darker. I can see it's getting darker. So yes, and again, foil underlay goes down first, and then that'll protect the mat from puncturing. You do not want this to puncture. You lose all your insulation. You'll have no insulation from it at all, like barely, just the material. So yeah, you want to try and do what you can to not have that scenario happen. So yes, having something like a little foil, something underneath you, just to protect the mat, definitely a good idea. Pump sack, good idea as a backup if you don't have or don't have a pump, electronic USB pump. And last but not least, so this is whatever sleeping bag you are using. Again, I've told you many times that I pack my sleeping bag in a Midge head net. It is now not mid-season. We're getting well away from mid-season, but I will always pack this in this because I'm going to pack it in something. And if it's just habit, it means when it comes into April, May, when the midges are starting to come out, it's always going to be there. This is my winter bag. I say winter, it's like a 0 degree bag. So again, people's winters are different wherever you are in the world. And not a massive fan of this bag, to be honest, only because I think it's wider than I like. And I think I would prefer something a wee bit, and the hood doesn't really cinch in around you as much. And even recently, like I think my last camp, I was actually noticing, I actually wanted to have something up around my head. So I might switch this out for the Sierra Designs. I think it was the Get Down 20 bag. I think I might get one of them at some point if I can get one second hand at a decent price. But having said that, this is still a great bag, and it's a 0 degree bag and weighs less than a kilogram, which is what I look for. Is basically a 0 degree feather bag. It needs to be feather, I think, to keep it under that weight. And I think this comes in at maybe 900 grams, maybe slightly less than that. So yeah, great sleeping bag, and that goes into the Midge head net. Also in the Midge head net, this is obviously whatever your personal preference is. I've gone back to using one of these pillows. And it's worked for me, to be honest. I do have my wee IKEA pillow of dreams, and I've also, actually one of my most comfortable pillows was made up of clothing that I used in the Wicklow way, using a buff, like so, basically using like a neck gaiter like that, and then rolling up a jacket or two inside it, and using the neck gaiter to kind of retain it. It actually worked so well. It was actually, I think it was one of my most comfortable pillows. But as I said in the Wicklow Way videos, like if you need one of those items of clothing because you're getting a bit cold or something, then you're like defeating the purpose. So yeah, these little, Sea to Summit, but the cheaper ones would be off AliExpress. So Nature Hike, Wide Sea. This one is just a random brand, so I'm not even going to explain that. But yeah, these pillows are great. But it's obviously personal preference. But that goes inside my bag with the sleeping bag. Okay, only other thing then is my little my little arm chest pack. What is in my arm chest pack? It actually has a nice little sleeve here, which is great. So that's where I would put my map, I think, which I have in one of the big IKEA Ziploc bags. Yeah, it just fits really well in there, actually. Tissues possibly, but I don't know. I think I don't want them in there. I just stash them in there. They're probably going to be in my hip belt pockets or something. And then in here is likely going to be stuff I want quick, easy access to on the trail. So my wee DJI Neo drone with my wee bumpers that I put onto it. It's like green, white and gold, green, silver and gold. And I've got my wee filter on the lens, and I got a wee bumper guard put on there, and I basically pimped it up with some green propellers. Got my Hollyland mics that I'm using here. They're actually great. Hollyland Mark M1s. Is it M1 or M2? But they're, yeah, do the job. They're great on windy days especially. Or if you're far away from the camera, like here. I have a controller in there as well. So yeah, your phone goes in here. And it means it's all handy and just ready to go. But this little thing, you know, I don't need to bring this. Like, I can literally fly it with my phone or just use the little built-in settings. So, like, it's crazy. It's brilliant. What else is in there? I've got a spare battery in there as well. And I've got 2 spare batteries. Yeah, I got 2 spare batteries in there as well. But yeah, this wee drone, I've done a video about this, and I think I've done a comparison with it and the DJI Mavic Mini. Anyway, there's some few videos there about drones. There's also a video I did recently about drone laws. Look that up before you start flying drones.
Follow, droney, circle, rocket, spotlight, helix.
So, absolutely amazing piece of kit. And if you just want to go lightweight, bring that with you, add a little bit of texture to your videos. Superb. And you don't even need, like, if you didn't have those on as well, like, it would be even smaller, but that just gives a wee bit of partly impact resistance, flotation as well. They're buoyant, and also it's got like wee kind of legs on it, so it keeps it a wee bit off the ground a bit more. So yeah, you could literally just have that in there, and that's 100%. In there, I'd also carry a big massive Ziploc IKEA bag, so that if it is really wet weather, I can just dump everything into that to keep it safe and then stash it back in again. But like, typically I won't put it in that unless it does start chucking it. So yeah, I think I'm going to rock with this for a wee while, just test it out rather than my bum bag. Join the gang. So yeah, that is the gear I would bring. I don't think there's anything else, is there? So yeah, that's all for now. And then next video, as I say, hopefully you're going to get to see this wee baby in action. The wee beast, wee beastie. So I'm going to probably do the review on it first, actually, so you'll probably have that video up and all. And the Fern Gakota 2 is going to be put on the shelf for a while, but it's still a good tent. Absolutely recommend it as well. I hope you found that useful. I say this is just what I'm bringing. I'll figure some of those things out. I might switch out. Right, happy adventures. Hope you're going to be better kitted out and have a wee bit of an idea about what to bring, what not to bring. This all weighed actually about, I think even with the chest pack and drone and everything, I think it weighed in about 14, and this is with water and all, so it was about 14 kilograms. And I would say I'm pretty happy with that with water. And with all that food, it was pretty much excess, I think. Yeah, about 14 kilograms. Right, I'm all talked out. Happy adventures. Do not let the autumn and winter put you off going outdoors. Beautiful times to camp. But I do think I'll probably do a lot more hammock forest camping in this winter, I think. We'll see. Stay tuned. God, I'm going to have to tidy this all up now. And the next adventure should be somewhere around here. Happy adventures.